After 30 years, I discovered my late husband's secret in an old painting that changed everything. The sun filtered through the attic window, revealing dust motes that danced in the golden light, as Emily hesitated over the pile of boxes. Each cardboard container held another fragment of Tom's life, fragments that felt both familiar and overwhelming. She had buried him a year ago, and the ache of his absence still tugged at her heart daily. How had it come to this? Surrounded by memories of laughter and love, yet feeling utterly alone, she picked up an old shirt of his and inhaled deeply, searching for some comfort in his lingering scent. She had witnessed her husband's struggle with societal expectations, an unspoken pressure to be the good husband and father, a pressure that crushed his unfulfilled dreams. As her hands grazed over a large canvas propped against the far wall, something pulled at her. The surface was obscured by grime, yet the vibrant colors beckoned her. It felt almost alive. Could this be a hidden glimpse into Tom's world? Dread mingled with excitement as she wiped away the dust, revealing swirls of color and shapes that spoke of longing. The hidden story of a man who once dared to dream. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the hours slipped by, Emily lost herself in the palette of colors and shapes, each brushstroke uncovering layers of Tom's soul she'd never known. Tears blurred her vision as she considered how even now, he could speak to her through this canvas. Yet in that moment, something began to gnaw at her. Why had he hidden this side of himself? What else was she blind to? The weight of societal norms pressed down on her chest, suffocating her. Could she expose a part of him that he had kept hidden like a dirty secret? A mix of pride and dread churned in her stomach as she envisioned showcasing Tom's art in a local gallery. A bold move that risked judgment from a town enamored with conformity. Would they understand? Or would they whisper about how she had given up on the traditional path? Her heart raced at the thought of standing in front of his painting, fearing the scrutiny of eyes that had always measured success in bank accounts and tidy lawns. She could already hear their hushed voices, dripping with skepticism. Just as she felt empowered by this prospective act of bravery, doubts crept in. What if Tom had wanted to leave the world of art behind for good? What if this was the very thing that haunted him? Memories of Tom's struggles with his career flooded her mind, revealing a man caught in a system that devoured dreams. Would showcasing his art honor him, or would it expose his pain for all to see? The emotional pressure mounted, her mind racing faster as she wrestled with her purpose. Her children depended on her to provide stability after their father's death, and here she was, teetering between honoring a hidden legacy and risking the financial security of the family. With every passing moment, a decision loomed, heavy and unresolved, reflecting the tangled web of her anguish. Could she dare to chase a dream, even if it was wrapped in bittersweet layers of grief? The thought hung over her like an ominous cloud as she faced the painting, caught in a haunting stillness. Would she take the leap, or would fear silence her voice forever? Emily stood in the attic, the vibrant colors of Tom's painting swirling around her like a tornado of emotions. Each brushstroke seemed imbued with unspoken words, a vivid testament to dreams left unfulfilled and passions hidden beneath layers of conformity. She pressed her fingers against the canvas, feeling a pulse of raw emotion emanating from it. It was as if Tom, in all his complexity, had poured his heart into this piece. Yet she had been blind to so much. The weight of the choice before her tightened around her chest. Could she truly unveil his hidden passion to the world? What if doing so meant shouting into the void of societal normativity, a shout that echoed through the echoes of their small-town understanding? Here, art wasn't celebrated for its emotional depth. It was merely a hobby, nice to display, but better kept at arm's length. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting shadows across the attic, she felt the confines of grief pulling her into a familiar abyss. But with every moment spent lost in thought, she recognized the flicker of determination that began to outshine her trepidation. Art could be a conversation starter. It could provoke thought, serve as a mirror, reflect reality in its rawest form. Perhaps it was precisely what this town needed. A shattering of complacency. A challenge to the status quo that had dictated lives far too long. What lay ahead wouldn't come without hurdles. The whispers of judgment she imagined would weigh heavily on her shoulders, and the vulnerability of revealing Tom's spirit would open old wounds, both his and hers. She carried their family's fragility. Her children had already endured so much loss. The thought of forging onward with this endeavor ignited her fear of failing as a mother. In the cusp of that uncertainty, she felt something stir within her. Her heart raced not merely with fear, but with a burgeoning sense of resolve. What if this journey could serve as a legacy? What if through Tom's art, she could show her children the strength found in vulnerability? A lesson not just for them, but perhaps for herself too. Showcasing the painting could be her way of carrying his spirit forward, of saying, this was him. This was what he loved. And in turn, perhaps it would guide her children toward embracing their own passions without the weight of societal expectation. It was a calculated risk. She envisioned sitting down with a mentor later, someone who understood the local art scene, someone with insight into what it would take to organize an exhibition. It wouldn't just be her voice shouting against the winds of doubt. She would gather needed allies, creating a chorus of support that could amplify this message. Yet in her heart, she still wrestled, a deep-seated fear that never quite went away. Was she prepared to face the inevitable fallout? What if the town couldn't reconcile Tom's struggles with the art they would see? What if their ill-conceived notions dimmed the light she wanted to shine through her late husband's passion? As she returned to the painting, an electric energy surged through her veins. Empowerment intertwined with vulnerability as she brushed her fingers across the canvas once more. She was on the precipice of something significant, and the air was thick with anticipation and trepidation alike. Would she grasp that chance to honor Tom, or would doubt cast her back into the shadows of silence? The decision loomed over her like an unwritten page, one echoing the very essence of who she was becoming. Taking a deep breath, she stepped away from the canvas, allowing the vision to crystallize in her mind. The time had come to face not only the memories of Tom, but the woman she was evolving into, an artist in her own right. Tomorrow, she would seek out someone who could help her translate this legacy into reality. The possibilities unspooled before her, and riding on the waves of uncertainty, a new question emerged. Could art not only heal the wounds, but ignite change within her life as well? As she turned off the lights in the attic, her heart raced at the realization. There was a long road ahead, and it had only just begun. The next morning dawned bright and crisp, promising a fresh start. As Emily stood in front of the bathroom mirror, applying her makeup, she barely recognized the reflection staring back. There was a determination in her eyes that fluttered with the remnants of fear, but glimmered with a new light. She was no longer merely Tom's widow. She was becoming her own person, capable of translating loss into something transcendent. With a plan brewing in her mind, she dressed in simple yet elegant attire, comfortable enough to navigate the day but purposeful to reflect her intention. She headed out into the morning air, her feet carrying her toward the local cafe where she had arranged to meet Sarah, the mentor she'd researched after a night of earnest contemplation. Sarah was known for her sharp eye for art and her vast network within the community, a guiding force who could help lift Emily's vision from the confines of her grief. As she approached the cafe's entrance, a wave of nostalgia hit her. It had always been a bustling hub of laughter and chatter, now quiet as patrons settled into their routines. She found Sarah already seated at a table, a sketchbook sprawled open before her, exposing unfinished works intermingled with notes and musings. "Emily, so glad you could make it," Sarah greeted warmly, her presence radiating a welcoming energy. Emily smiled, sitting down across from her, heart racing. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, but she could hardly focus on anything else but the gravity of what lay ahead. "Thanks for meeting me. I really want to talk about something important," Emily began, hesitating as she collected her thoughts. "It's about art, Tom's art. I've been thinking about showcasing it." Sarah raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Showcasing his work? That's a bold step." "I know, but I think it could mean something deeper. Not just for me, but for others too," Emily explained, pouring out her burgeoning vision. She spoke of the potential for the painting to resonate with others, for it to serve as a bridge for families similar to hers to find healing. However, as Sarah listened intently, Emily could sense the luminous excitement in her mentor's eyes dim slightly. With careful precision, Sarah acknowledged the emotional weight of what Emily wanted to do. "Emily, it's a beautiful initiative, but you must consider the implications. Public reception can be brutal, especially when it intertwines with personal trauma. Are you prepared for that?" The words struck Emily, sending ripples of doubt into her optimism. Could she truly withstand the scrutiny and potentially harsh judgments? I think this is bigger than me. I want my kids to know their dad, the passionate side of him. I want to show them how vital it is to embrace who you are, even if it's hard," she emphasized, her resolve sharpening. "I respect your courage. But understand, revealing that part of Tom may also require confronting his struggles, and yours too," Sarah warned gently. A flicker of fear surged within Emily. She had buried Tom's pain alongside her own grief for years. Perhaps the exhibition would inadvertently unearth all of that once more. Her heart raced. This path wasn't merely about presenting art. It was about unearthing truths too close to the surface, about redefining her identity through the lens of vulnerability. Changing how others perceive Tom could be powerful, but it could break you all over again. "Can you withstand the fallout?" Sarah prodded, the concern now palpable in her voice. Emily sat back, considering the precipice ahead. "I want to bring healing, not just for me, but for others who have faced loss. Together, we can bring forth something meaningful." The determination in her voice belied the tumult swirling in her heart. "All right," Sarah stated, leaning forward. "Let's create a plan. But you must promise to be forthright with your feelings and aware of your limits." Emily nodded, breath hitching with excitement and anxiety. She was stepping into the unknown, beckoned by the truth of Tom's forgotten passion and her own emerging identity. In that moment, amidst the clatter of morning life, she resolved to be the architect of change, not just for herself, but for the legacy entwined in his art. The road ahead would be harrowing, filled with revelations and tests she had yet to fathom. As she and Sarah began to sketch out a strategy, a fresh wave of doubt danced at the edges of her resolve. Could she truly carry forth the essence of Tom's spirit and face the world with her own? The next chapter of this journey was unfolding, a storm of emotions brewing just beneath the surface, waiting to reveal the truth of what lay ahead. Emily's heart thudded in her chest as she and Sarah began mapping out their plan. Each flick of Sarah's pencil across the sketchbook seemed to etch deeper concerns into Emily's mind. The potential fallout from showcasing Tom's art loomed like a storm cloud waiting to unleash its fury. "Let's start by cataloging his works," Sarah suggested, her voice calm, though Emily felt any semblance of calm slippily escaping her grasp. "It'll help us understand what resonates most with you and what may resonate with an audience." Emily nodded, adrenaline coursing through her veins. The idea of rifling through Tom's paintings filled her with nostalgia, but also revealed shadows of their past, moments she had neatly filed away in the corners of her memory. As they flipped through photographs of Tom's earlier works taken before Emily's world became consumed by grief, she noted the layers of emotion captured in each stroke, each choice of color. He loved expressing his struggles through his art, she whispered, more to herself than to Sarah. The realization hit hard. His art spoke of anguish and light, the duality of his existence. "Are you ready to confront it?" Sarah probed, pausing to meet Emily's gaze. Emily felt exposed. The weight of Sarah's question hung heavy in the air. Here was the reality she had long sought to avoid. Tom's artwork held reflections of his internal battles. But that very same reality jolted her determination back to life. "If I don't face it, how can I honor him?" "Good," Sarah replied, a flicker of pride in her eyes. "No one can tell your story, or Tom's, better than you. Let's start here." They spent the next hours sorting, documenting, and reminiscing, revealing subtle layers of their shared history. Each completed painting sparked an internal dialogue. Emily confronted memories she had buried deep. Why had she locked herself away from not just Tom's art, but his struggles as well? Perhaps she feared that uncovering the darker aspects would fracture the image of the man she held dear. To share it all is to admit his pain, and perhaps my own, she confessed, as they worked through a particularly vivid piece that depicted a stormy ocean. "What if people only see his demons? Or maybe they'll see their own," Sarah replied. "Your willingness to share that reality could connect with others in profound ways. You may find solace in their stories, too." The vulnerability Sarah described danced enticingly in Emily's thoughts. The idea of finding connection amid shared pain sparked a flicker of hope. Could exposing Tom's vulnerabilities truly lead to a greater understanding of his art? With every finished catalog entry, a new layer of Emily emerged. She could feel a tentative strength growing. Each stroke of paint in Tom's canvases resonated within her soul, articulating elements of her identity she had long since buried. She was not just Tom's widow. She was becoming a vessel, a conduit of his stories threaded with her own. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, Emily felt a sense of clarity wash over her. It wasn't merely about showcasing artwork. It was about fostering conversations, face-to-face connections with grief, understanding, and healing. Yet, an unsettling thought lingered. Was she ready to face those conversations head-on? The thought of public scrutiny still threatened to envelop her resolve. Even while feeling emboldened, she questioned if she could provide the vulnerable pieces of herself without shattering. "Yes, I can do this," she affirmed, the words holding a weight she hadn't anticipated. "I want to tell our story, all of it." As they packed up for the day, Sarah offered a firm handshake, a gesture of solidarity. "Tomorrow, we'll start reaching out to galleries and curators. Be prepared. It will take time, but what you're doing could resonate broadly." Emily's breath caught in her throat, and a rush of exhilarating panic sent chills up her spine. This was the precipice of her transformation, her art, her story, laid bare to the world. Would this journey heal her wounds, or reveal scars deeper than she imagined? The dawn of her next steps was upon her, ready to bring both enlightenment and turmoil. And as they parted ways, she couldn't shake this question from echoing in her mind. What would she find hidden within Tom's final masterpieces that could change everything? The next morning, a fragile determination pulsed through Emily as she readied herself for this new chapter. The sun streamed through her window, illuminating the space where Tom's art had long been a silent companion in her grief. But today, that silence felt charged with potential. An electric undercurrent that reminded her of the importance of what lay ahead. She sat at the small desk where the catalog of Tom's artwork lay spread out like a constellation of unspoken narratives. As she jotted down her notes, every brushstroke, every shade began to worm its way into her consciousness, weaving Tom's unfiltered heart into her memories. "This piece," she murmured, gazing at a minimalist painting that felt both haunting and serene, "could define our journey." But was she ready to claim that journey? After a deep breath, she started reaching out to galleries. The first call, a curator whose work she admired, sent waves of anxiety crashing against her resolve. "Hi, I'm Emily," she introduced herself, conscious of the tremor in her voice. "I want to discuss a possible exhibition of my late husband's works." A sharp inhale filled the following silence. The curator was polite, but nonchalant, making Emily feel like a child presenting a paper airplane at a sophisticated gathering. "You understand the legacy these works carry?" he asked carefully. "More than you know," she replied, anchoring herself to the conviction lodged in her chest. For every call that followed, she felt like she was laying bare not only Tom's art, but her own vulnerabilities. The more she spoke, the clearer her vision became. With each interaction, she discovered hidden facets of her voice. An unexpected eloquence emerged when discussing Tom's journey, and more importantly, the lessons that could emerge for others grappling with their pain. Excitement fluttered alongside dread. Doubts began creep back in. What if they rejected the art? What if those faced with Tom's demons only saw their cruelty mirrored? Yet, she was learning to navigate through self-doubt. "Not everyone knows what it means to bleed out their heart onto a canvas," she told Sarah later that day, her tone earnest. "Tom did, and if this can open a dialogue, it's worth it." Sarah's face lit up with appreciation. "That's it. Your passion will resonate. Trust that people connect through honesty," she encouraged as they sat together, furiously brainstorming narratives that intertwined their individual scars and triumphs. As the days rolled into a blur of calls, meetings, and the scent of lingering paint, Emily could feel herself shedding the widow's veil that had wrapped her tightly for too long. She didn't just prepare for an exhibition. She prepared for a rebirth. The emotional barricades were crumbling, and what lay beneath was more vibrant than she had imagined. However, amidst this unfolding renaissance, the shadows of doubt remained, lurking just at the edge of her confidence. What would the public reaction be? How many echoes of Tom's struggles would reflect back at her? The thought sent tremors of anxiety racing through her mind. At an unexpected moment of quiet that week, she opened a forgotten folder stuffed with old letters Tom had saved, notes from friends or musings on pieces he had long abandoned. One letter in particular caught her eye, the handwriting familiar yet distant. As she read its heartfelt words, an overwhelming mix of sorrow and excitement surged through her veins. What secrets had Tom held on to? What stories had he wanted to tell but never could? Emily clutched the paper tightly, recognizing that this discovery was more than mere nostalgia. It could be a light illuminating a darker path, one she wasn't sure she was ready to traverse. Would unveiling these truths finally allow her to claim her own narrative? Or would it drive further wedges between the memories of the man she loved and the identity she was now discovering? The questions buzzed in her mind like a persistent echo, reframing her conversation with the curator in a new light. Was she prepared to expose Tom's secrets and her own in a very public arena? The exhibition loomed like a storm, promising both rain and redemption. As she prepared to meet the curator again, her fingers traced the edge of that letter. What if this was the key to unlocking an entirely new aspect of her, one that could resonate deeper than she ever thought possible? Were Tom's words about to guide her through the fog? The revelation whispered a frightening truth. Her journey had only just begun. Emily stood before the canvas of Tom's minimalistic painting, its stark lines echoing her internal battle. The vivid colors pulsated with life, yet evoked the ghostly whispers of her past. She felt both encompassed and exposed, the letter from the folder clutched tightly in her hand, a talisman of hope and fear intertwined. The day of her meeting with the curator had arrived, but the excitement that had filled her earlier was morphing into a heavy cloak of anxiety. Each promise of potential now tugged at anxieties that had been nestled in the back of her mind. What if she misread the emotions within the canvas? What if her interpretations came off as selfish, twisting Tom's legacy to fit her newfound narrative? As she made her way to the gallery, the city rushed by like a painted blur, chaotic yet familiar. Her thoughts drifted to the letter, where Tom had penned thoughts on his creative process, reflections on life that hadn't entirely found a place in the final art pieces. He had once confided in her that his paintings were windows into his soul. Was she prepared to open those windows wide for others to gaze through? When she arrived at the gallery, the walls lined with vibrant art felt oppressive yet invigorating. Emily felt a surge of inspiration. Each piece was a testament to vulnerability, and the realization struck her. If Tom could bear his soul, why couldn't she? Pushing through her doubts took on a weighty importance, and she forced herself to still her racing heart. The curator greeted her with a practiced smile, although his eyes held an unexpected warmth. "Emily, good to see you again. I'm eager to hear more about your vision for Tom's art." Taking a deep breath, she launched into her explanations, layering in emotional recounts and the significance behind each piece she had chosen. As she spoke, the letter's insights threaded seamlessly into her narrative, illuminating the depth of Tom's struggles with his artistry. She conveyed how the art served as a diary of sorts, revealing all the beauty and chaos housed within one man. "What really strikes me," the curator interjected, a thoughtful glaze in his eyes, "is the way you articulate the vulnerabilities in his pieces. Pain breathes through them, but so does resolve." Emily nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. Could it be that vulnerability was not just Tom's legacy, but part of her own? As the conversation deepened, the curator posed a question that caught her off guard. "Do you feel ready to share your journey through Tom's art publicly, beyond just showcasing his pieces?" The question lingered in the air, heavy and charged. Would bearing her soul alongside Tom's invite even more scrutiny? "Sharing might magnify the pain I still carry," she stammered, whispering her fear aloud. "What if it also creates healing?" He leaned closer, encouraging her to consider the other side of the coin. His question hung in the room, pulling at her heartstrings with the intensity of a powerful brushstroke on canvas. She started to reflect on her day with Sarah, where they'd discussed their raw narratives, the catharsis stemming from exposing their deepest fears. If acknowledging their realities had the power to release them, why would her own truth not carry the same weight? Hours passed, and the intensity of the discussion revealed not just Tom's art, but her emerging potential as an artist in her own right. Each layer she peeled back revealed more about herself, a woman learning to navigate the blurry lines between grief and growth, fear and fortitude. "I think I'm ready," she declared, surprising herself with the strength in her voice. "To unveil not just Tom's legacy, but my own story woven into it." The curator smiled, his expression affirming what had only begun to solidify in her heart. That revelation ignited a new spark of excitement within Emily, yet a new fear creep in. Exposing herself would not only showcase Tom's struggles, but reveal her own fissures. What facets of her past had she not yet explored? As uncertainty loomed, a sense of liberation unfurled. Emily grasped at the letter once more, visions of Tom's words flooding her mind. What would he want me to reveal? She pondered silently. Being authentic in such a public space felt like treading on a tightrope with uncertain footing. But as she prepared to share both the art and the intertwined narratives of grief and resilience, she couldn't ignore the pull toward a horizon bursting with undiscovered possibilities. The meeting concluded with a tentative plan for the exhibition, leaving Emily with a fusion of hopes and fears swirling inside her. What awaited her as she stepped onto a more expansive stage, where every person present would look to her for guidance, inspiration, and perhaps even solidarity? With the weight of Tom's legacy upon her shoulders, she realized this was merely the beginning of a deeper exploration into her own artistry. What other secrets lay within the folds of their shared history, and were there darker truths awaiting her brave touch? The true essence of this endeavor beckoned like an open canvas, vibrant and undefined, challenging her to take the next step. As she walked away from the gallery, a new question echoed relentlessly. Was she prepared for the revelations that lay ahead? And would they unravel the very fabric of the life she had known with Tom? Emily barely slept that night, her thoughts racing while shadows danced in the corners of her mind. The curator's approving gaze lingered, yet it was the specter of her own vulnerability that haunted her. The anticipation of unveiling Tom's legacy mingled with her own unresolved fears, morphing into a tumult of possibilities and conflicts. The morning arrived with the brisk scent of coffee, yet her mind remained clouded. She picked up the letter again, tracing the delicate script of Tom's words. What had once been a comforting talisman now felt more like a formidable puzzle. Each line bubbled with unspoken emotions, revealing the struggles that had entwined his artistic journey with hers. She needed to reflect and prepare, but felt an unyielding urgency to act. As she stepped into her small studio, the familiar chaos of paint tubes and brushes welcomed her like an old friend. Instinctively, her fingers reached for a blank canvas waiting patiently in the corner. In the past, she had let her grief define her brushstrokes, each splatter a tear shed for Tom, a cathartic release. But today felt different. Today demanded exploration. She squeezed paint straight from the tube, and with a deliberate motion began to apply harsh strokes, mixing colors that collided violently yet vibrantly on canvas. With each motion, her uncertainties flowed outward, every stroke manifesting her emotions, the fears of inadequacy, the potential for growth, and her yearning to honor Tom while revealing her own identity. The artistry was raw, immediate, a reflection of her struggle to blend the past with the present. Midway into her session, an unexpected interruption claimed her attention, a knock at the door. It was Sarah, her confidant, who had been instrumental in grounding her throughout this tumultuous journey. "Mind if I come in?" she asked, sensing the energy in the air. "Of course," Emily replied, though her heart reflected the uncertainty of their conversation. As the two women settled, Emily couldn't help but voice her fears. What if sharing my story reveals more than I'm ready to confront? Sarah leaned closer, her expression earnest. "Look, Emily, your voice will resonate with others who have faced similar struggles. You're not just sharing Tom's art, you're sharing the journey that has shaped you." Her words ignited something within Emily. Would her experiences shed light on her own inadequacies, or offer solace to someone navigating through similar grief? But what if it all unraveled? Emily questioned, grappling with the potential fallout of her storytelling. Sarah's response was measured, layered with understanding. "You'll never know unless you take that leap. Embracing both the beauty and the pain can turn your narratives into power." Emily pondered, her thoughts ignited by Sarah's encouragement. Perhaps it was time to confront not just Tom's legacy, but her own hidden truths. What buried aspects of her own self had she yet to unveil? With renewed clarity, Emily returned to the canvas, channeling a newfound determination as her brush flew across the surface, creating chaos that somehow coalesced into beauty. Each layer she added felt like peeling back the weight of expectations and fear, opening spaces for authenticity to emerge. As her session progressed, she finally began to see shades of her own narrative flickering through the textures. The wild strokes slowly fused into a harmonious depiction of resilience, intertwined with vulnerability, reflecting what she felt, but struggled to articulate. Finishing the work, Emily stepped back, breathless. Before her stood not just a canvas, but a testament to her journey, one reflecting the dual role of the observer and participant in her own life. This creation was her first step toward embracing an equally vivid narrative alongside Tom's. The exhibition loomed ahead, and with it, the promise of exploration, the idea that confronting her past could redefine her future. But something deeper stirred within her, and it felt like a whisper coaxing her toward the unknown. A realization splashed across her mind like the bright colors on her canvas. What if unveiling her truth compelled her to confront the unaddressed aspects of her relationship with Tom? Did she even know everything about him? As excitement and anxiety twisted together, Emily felt the weight of possibility settle in her chest. Tonight, something would happen. She would reach for the remnants of Tom's world and her own to weave a new narrative. But would discovering his secrets deepen her understanding or unravel the threads of their shared life? With her heart racing, she began to gather notes and thoughts, a plan forming in the depths of her mind. What if uncovering hidden truths in Tom's sketches led her to discover perspectives she had never considered before? The afternoon sun cast a soft glow through the studio window as Emily sifted through the scattered remnants of Tom's world. Chasing the lingering heat of unresolved emotions, she divided her thoughts between the vibrant canvas that had just emerged and the hidden depths within Tom's sketches. There was urgency, a beckoning to explore not just his artistic legacy, but to embark on a journey through their storied past. Sifting through the pile of old sketches, Emily felt the weight of nostalgia and trepidation bearing down on her. She had always celebrated Tom's creativity, yet now, each stroke on paper seemed to pulse with secrets heightened by the shadows of loss. It became clear to her that understanding his work would require peeling back layers she had avoided. Every sketch became an interrogation, every brushstroke a question posed to her memory. She flipped through the pages, her fingers brushing over the charcoal lines that formed faces she recognized, but had never fully comprehended. Who were these people? More importantly, who were they in Tom's narrative? Facing each image, Emily confronted not just Tom's interpretations, but her own fears and biases that colored his creations. Would she find solace or calamity within the depths of his work? A particular sketch caught her eye, one of a landscape that felt strangely familiar, yet different somehow. The colors, smeared and swirled, hinted at something more than mere beauty. Tentatively, she set the others aside and focused on this one piece, as if it were a portal into Tom's mind. It struck her that this landscape might represent a significant, if elusive, chapter in their shared journey. As she meticulously studied the intricate lines and shades, Emily recalled a late-night conversation they had shared several years ago about vulnerability and the chaos of expression. "Art is what we make it," Tom had said. "But sometimes, it's about what we choose not to express. What are you afraid to reveal?" His question reverberated in her mind now, pushing her deeper into examination of this sketch. What was he afraid of? Her heartbeat quickened as she thought back to those moments filled with laughter and warmth, but also the unacknowledged rifts. In Tom's art, perhaps there were veiled admissions or regrets. Inspired, she grabbed a fresh canvas and began reproducing the sketch, attempting to crack open the emotional vault both she and Tom had built around their past. With each stroke, she felt herself slipping further into a well of contemplation. Hours passed, and before she knew it, night enveloped the studio. The moonlight spilled through the window, illuminating her latest work, a juxtaposition of the sketch and her interpretation, a hybrid of their fragments. A breakthrough materialized. The landscape began to morph, and as she layered her own emotions onto the canvas, the image transformed from one of ambiguity into a narrative of their intertwined souls. At that moment, a thought cut through the haze. What if this exploration was not just an investigation of Tom's artistic intentions, but rather an awakening of her own gifts? With every stroke, she unearthed something that transcended mere imitation of his style. She discovered her voice intertwining with his legacy. Yet, with this realization came a darker thought. What if everything she created from this point forward was overshadowed by the specter of Tom? Could she ever emerge from his shadow into her own light? Or would she remain trapped in the stories of the past? The weight of such a dilemma pressed down upon her. The deeper she probed, the more fragmented her sense of identity felt, as if every revelation about Tom was a mirror reflecting her own insecurities. What if the journey to understanding him led her to uncover facets of herself she had long suppressed? Would she welcome that discovery or shy away in fear? Just then, a crash outside jolted her from her thoughts, pulling her back to the moment. Startled, she glanced toward the door, suddenly aware that the fabric of her night was thick with possibility and uncertainty, both exhilarating and frightening. Vague memories mingled with the present as she made the decision to delve deeper. With a pen in hand, she started to jot down her thoughts, unraveling a tapestry woven of love, loss, and self-discovery. Each word became a step toward embracing her identity beyond Tom. As dawn approached, she could hardly bear the weight of anticipation that thrummed in her veins. What awaited her as she uncovered the connections between her life and Tom's art? Suddenly, her phone buzzed, and a message popped onto the screen. "We need to talk. I found something important about Tom." Emily's heart raced. This was the moment she had been waiting for. The door to the past creaked open, and she was teetering on the precipice of a revelation that could shape her future. Emily's fingers trembled as she read the message again. The urgency pulsing from those words reverberated within her, beckoning her to face the very memories she had been meticulously uncovering through Tom's art. "We need to talk." Who was this message from? It took her a moment to recall the number. Grace, Tom's closest friend and confidant, had always been a silent observer in their lives. Taking a deep breath to steady herself, she quickly drafted a response. "What did you find?" Her heart raced. Was this information going to illuminate the gaps she had long since buried, or was it merely another shadow to hover over her? She glanced back toward the canvas, mocking her with its unresolved narrative. With every moment passing, the contours of her identity began to shift. Her connection to Tom was clear, but drifting into a distant fog. The paintings had offered her a new path, but now the prospect of confronting his past threatened to obscure the light she had just begun to embrace. In the stillness of the studio, she shifted her focus. The moonlight cast eerie shadows that danced against the walls, echoing her inner turmoil. What if whatever Grace had found opened a door she wasn't ready to step through? The vulnerability of the unknown was intoxicating and terrifying all at once. Determined to confront these feelings, Emily reached for her journal, her ink-dipped thoughts craving an outlet. She moved fluidly from the intimate spaces of her fears to rationalizing what Tom's legacy meant for her own journey. It was a competition, or perhaps a collaboration, her identity versus his artistry. Would it strengthen her, or leave her feeling inadequate? What would she find when she strode into that realm of the unknown? Moments later, Grace responded with a location and time. A small cafe downtown where Tom used to sketch ideas on napkins as they brainstormed for projects. The memory haunted her, a bittersweet reminder of simplicity overshadowed by the agony of his absence. But this was a call to reconcile, to unearth not only Tom's secrets, but to challenge the specter of her own doubts. Feeling a contradictory mix of anticipation and dread, Emily decided she would go. She needed to find out more about who Tom was outside of their carefully curated life together, both his shadows and light. Gathering her belongings, she left the studio, steeling herself against the world beyond the threshold that had become her sanctuary. On the streets, the crisp morning air invigorated her senses, and with each step, she felt the emerging resolve of her new path. Questions rose within her mind, each one more consuming than the last. What had Tom hidden? And did it change everything she had believed about their life together? At the cafe, a small bell chimed as she entered, and the familiar smell of roasted coffee wrapped around her. She spotted Grace seated at a corner table, her hands gripping a steaming mug, eyes scanning the entrance. As Emily approached, every heartbeat felt like a countdown. The conversation ahead would challenge everything she had started to unravel about herself. Grace met her gaze, and in that moment, they understood the truths that lay ahead, heavy with implications. "Thank you for coming," Grace began, her voice low and serious, as if on the verge of divulging something monumental. "I didn't want to take too long, but I found something we both deserve to see." Emily felt the ground shift beneath her. Would this revelation illuminate her path forward, or trap her in an even darker past? The tension in the air crystallized with unspoken fears and possibilities. "Let's talk," Emily urged, her own voice a mixture of fear and determination. Little did she know, this conversation was only the beginning. It had the potential to either shatter her perceptions or ignite a transformative journey of self-discovery. As Grace pulled out the folded sketch, a piece of Tom's past, Emily braced herself for whatever truth lay ahead, ready to disentangle the complexities of love, loss, and identity from the man she thought she knew. What revelation would this sketch bring, and how would it alter the course of Emily's newly defined self? With hesitant hands, Emily unfurled the worn sketch that Grace had placed on the table. The faded lines and delicate shading breathed life into a memory that felt like a veiled glimpse into Tom's thoughts, a side of him she had longed to understand, yet feared confronting. She traced the contours of the page, feeling an electric charge resonate through her fingertips. This was hidden in with some old papers. "I think it belonged to Tom," Grace said quietly, her eyes locked onto Emily's. "It's different from what you've shown me before." The image depicted a solitary figure standing on a desolate cliff, facing a tumultuous sea, under ominous dark clouds. A knot formed in Emily's stomach as she sensed the raw emotion pulsing from the artwork. What was Tom trying to convey? "Did you know this existed?" Grace pressed gently. "I think it has layers he never wanted anyone to see." Emily's thoughts spiraled as she connected the dots. This painting wasn't merely art, it was an unfiltered channel into Tom's psyche. She was touching what he had perhaps hidden from everyone, including her. As the enormity of this revelation crashed over her, she realized it symbolized more than just Tom's struggles. It reflected her own journey of self-acceptance and understanding. "I never knew he felt this way," she whispered, her voice trembling. "He must have been carrying so much." Grace nodded, her expression reflecting shared grief for the man they both loved and the complexities of human emotion. "This captures something. His isolation, perhaps. Do you see it? You have to ask yourself what it means now for you." Questions swirled in Emily's mind. What had she been blind to in Tom's struggle? The figure's poise against the crashing waves resonated with her own feelings of standing on the precipice, torn between honoring Tom and stepping into her own light. "This is my opportunity to unveil both our stories," Emily declared, her conviction growing stronger. Tom's art was his voice, his expression through struggle. Grace smiled softly, realizing that Emily was finally beginning to embrace her own narrative. "Yes, and now you can weave your own tale to empower others," which is something Tom would have admired. The image became a catalyst, igniting in Emily a deep desire to delve further into the connection between Tom's art and her own path to healing. This sketch revealed the weight Tom had borne, an image that could redefine their history and her future in profound ways. As the discussion deepened, Emily felt the crux of her transformation pulse within her. The woman she had been before was beginning to dissolve. She was forging a new identity not solely as Tom's widow, but as an artist in her own right, rallying forth to connect experiences of grief and resilience with the world. "Together we can curate his legacy," Emily said, a passionate fire igniting within her soul. "If our stories can resonate with even one person, it will matter. I have to share not just his art, but what it unveils about love, loss, and the strength to reclaim oneself." Meanwhile, within the depths of her heart, a renewed sense of purpose began to emerge from the chaos. Tom's hidden drawings were not just relics of the past. They were shafts of light, illuminating the present. Each stroke unraveled more truths about their partnership and her own journey to self-fulfillment. On that chilly morning, sitting with Grace as the cafe bustled around them, Emily felt the weight of decisions cascading around her, like waves lapping at the cliff's edge. She had reached the turning point, daring to dive headfirst into Tom's previously hidden complexities while forging her own path of authenticity. As they continued discussing the sketch, Emily recognized the flicker of courage glowing inside her. She was ready to share not just Tom's art, but weave into the narrative her own revelations and the strength she now possessed. With newfound clarity, Emily saw the upcoming exhibition in a vibrant light, a space through which both her and Tom's legacies could breathe. It wouldn't merely be about showcasing an artist, but casting a spotlight on the shared humanity enveloped in vulnerability, strength, and healing. The days ahead would challenge her in ways she had yet to comprehend, but she felt resolute. Daring to unveil her truth would honor Tom's hidden spirit and showcase her unraveling journey toward wholeness, a lesson for her children and generations yet to come. With renewed resolve, she gazed into Grace's eyes. "I want to begin the process today, to show his art and reveal how it has become intertwined with my story." The energy frizzing in the air mirrored the tumult of emotions: hope, fear, excitement, all brimming for a leap into the unknown. As they left the cafe, Emily felt a sense of calm laying over her heart. The path was still obscured, but with each step toward the exhibition and every layer unveiled, she moved closer to embracing the woman she was becoming, an artist shaped by both loss and love. The canvas would hold the past, but it was her commitment to the journey, her willingness to embrace both the light and shadows that would ultimately forge ahead, the path of healing and transformation. Now, with every breath, there remained an urgency. She must share her story while inviting others to confront their own. The transformation was not solely personal, it was a universal narrative, evolving as she stood bravely at the intersection of love, grief, artistry, and the tenacity to reclaim the essence of her identity, one brushstroke, one revelation at a time. With determination coursing through her veins, Emily took a bold step forward. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment below with your reactions and theories about this conclusion. You won't want to miss sharing your thoughts. Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this journey of transformation.